Start out of respect for everyone's time, and then we'll have others that come in that we can introduce as we move along here. So, welcome, good morning. Thank you so much for coming to join us this morning as we host Visit California for the 101 session on resources for our local businesses. And we're very excited to have Kristine Tsusaki-Reddick here with us. What we typically do, Kristine, is do a brief introduction, popcorn style, around the Zoom room, and then I'll do a more formal introduction of you, and we'll get started. So let's start with Shannon.
Okay, hi. My name is Shannon Geary. I am the community marketing manager at State Street Market, which is a food hall in downtown Los Altos. I am also the current board president of the Los Altos Village Association, which is our downtown merchant association. Thank you.
Scott.
Oh, that's good to lead in. Scott Hunter, Executive Director, Los Altos Village Association. Good to see you again, Kristine.
Let's see Mark, why don't you go next, Mark?
Hi, I'm Mark Seidel, and I'm the community lead at a local family office, and I'm also on the Chamber Board.
Perfect. And Abby.
Good morning, all. Enchanté Hotel.
Anthony.
Anthony Carnesecca, assistant to the city manager for the city of Los Altos.
And then I also see Liz Williams.
Good morning, Liz Williams, Marketing and Events Manager at Los Altos Village Association.
Tim Giacomini.
Yeah, good morning. Tim Giacomini here, Mission Trail Waste Systems, and chamber member and past board member.
And I saw Marie Young. I don't see Marie. Oh, Marie, yes.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. Marie Young, individual member of the chamber.
Perfect. Did I miss anyone? I don't think so. So let me introduce Kristine. Kristine has over 20 years of experience in marketing, sales, and strategic relationship management. Prior to Visit California, she held leadership roles in account management and business development, where she focused on partnering with organizations to develop B2B strategies, sales campaigns, and marketing programs. Kristine has experience in multiple industries, including travel and tourism, technology, financial services, retail, and nonprofits. Before the corporate sector, Kristine was a public relations account executive specializing in government agencies and nonprofits. Kristine also served as Visit California's Director of Client Relations, Northern California, for 4 years. She is a native of Northern California. Kristine has a passion for the outdoors and spends most of her free time with her family exploring new destinations throughout the state. So with that, I'd love to welcome Kristine. We do have copies of the Visit California magazine here at our office as well, a beautiful publication that you've created. So with that, I'd like to turn things over to you.
Great. Thank you so much, Kim, and to the Los Altos Chamber for hosting me today. I'm so excited to share some resources and opportunities that are helpful for small businesses. I'm going to give you a brief overview of Visit California. And if I can leave you with 2 points today, important points. One is that the resources and tools I'm about to share are 100% free, so that's very exciting. And the other is that they really do work. There's real value in what I'm about to share. And I've seen us partner with everybody from small mom and pop retailers to large corporations, right? So there really is a place for everybody, and it's all about collaboration and engagement. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. So give me a second as I get set up. Okay, can everybody see my screen? And you see the Los Altos Chamber Government Affairs meeting. Okay, great.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to hop into a little bit of background on Visit California for those that are a little less familiar with who we are. So we are the official destination marketing organization for the state of California, and we've actually been around for about 30 years now, believe it or not. And we are a nonprofit organization, so very similar structure to a chamber of commerce where we're run by a board of directors. And we're actually funded by a tourism assessment. So every 6 years, industry businesses, there's over 18,000 stakeholders we have across the state of California, vote on whether or not to continue our program. And I'm happy to announce that as of this year, we just got renewal for 6 years more. So we'll be around for a while, just continuing to promote the state. Our mission is really to create desire for the California experience. Essentially, we are looking to drive visitation to the state, right, at the end of the day. I mentioned we're run by a board of directors, so this is a snapshot of our board leadership, and I'm sure you recognize a lot of logos on here. So what this really showcases is we really aim to have representation across the entire state and all the industry segments. So we like to say everybody essentially has a seat at the table when we're making key marketing decisions. So everybody from attractions to hoteliers, even rental cars make up a big portion of our funding, believe it or not. And this is actually my favorite slide. It's our tourism ecosystem, and it shows how Visit California collaborates as an industry. At the top of the funnel there is Brand USA. There are our national level destination marketing organizations, and they obviously have their hands full right now just creating positive messages about travel to the United States. Visit California, we sit at the state level. We're the inspiration bubble, creating the desire for California. And we partner with over 350 DMOs. I'll say that word DMO quite a bit. It's one of our acronyms. It's destination marketing organizations, as well as industry associations such as chambers of commerce, because so many of you are visitors, bureaus in your own regard, as well as industry trade associations. So if you think of like your hospitality associations, your winery associations, all who support local businesses that make up our tourism economy, really the boots on the ground folks that are giving the hospitality, the restaurants, retailers, attractions, etc. We really foster around collaboration. A lot of Visit California's programming is encouraging businesses to work together. There's strength in numbers, right? When we can talk about multiple packages, offerings for businesses, as well as itineraries, things of that nature. Our value add to the industry is really our distribution and reach, right? At the end of the day, we are promoting individual destination stories and kind of elevating their stories, right? And we really rely on working with the industry and collaborating with local destinations to tell us your stories. You guys are the experts at telling us what's going on in Los Altos, right? And anything we can do to help elevate that story, we are definitely game. So I'm going to give a real brief update on the state of California tourism. And when I toggle over to some of our industry resources, I will also touch on our industry research portal, which has a ton of free industry data. So we can go into the details in a little bit. But everything all in for the state, this is our preliminary economic impact numbers. And during May is California Tourism Month. So that's when we actually officially release the numbers, and we're out there just rallying around the importance of tourism as an economic driver to the state. But you can see everything all in for the state. You can see how big the numbers are, right? So consumer-related travel spend is about $159 billion. So we saw about a 1.4% increase year over year. The tax revenue contribution, this is everything all in for the state, about $13.8 billion. And you can see that over 1 million tourism-supported jobs. And so this is actually really good momentum going into 2026. And this is our visitation forecast. So Visit California does forecast on a quarterly basis, and we forecast out for several years, as you can see, through 2028. 2025 was relatively flat. We saw about a 0.8% increase in terms of consumer-related travel spend throughout the state. This year, we're actually forecasting more optimism, about 1.8%, so almost double the amount, right? Um, Obviously, we have a lot of really great mega events. As you know, we just had the Super Bowl as well as World Cup, which we'll talk about in a second. So we are really forecasting that we'll see even greater lift over the next few years. 2028, we have the Olympics coming down the pipeline. So lots of exciting things happening for the Golden State. I did want to talk a little bit about California's brand positioning because I think it really kind of puts into context where we're coming from. And it really is sort of, if you think about California's differentiators, right? Our brand positioning is we're the ultimate playground. We have a little bit of a unique culture here in California. We're a little bit more open-minded, playful, right? All dreams welcome. We also have the abundance of product. If you think about our vast geography, right? We have the Redwoods and Disneyland and wine country and Yosemite, all these wonderful, amazing offerings. We like to say nobody can light a candle on our abundance of riches, right? So when you put these two together, we like to say California is the ultimate playground where regardless of where I'm at in the world, right? California seems like a great place where I can have a fun vacation and really play, right? There's so many activities and things for me to do. So we've layered this brand positioning, the ultimate playground, into all of our key marketing campaigns. And so Let's Play is our general brand spot. Some of you may have seen it before, but it's really just kind of a nod to joyful, fun, playfulness. There's a beach ball that bounces around to all these different great fun locations across California, and they're playing the game of keep it up, right? And so the beach ball was actually invented in California, so whoever thought of that is genius, in my opinion. But it's just kind of this wonderful symbol. And Let's Play has resonated so well with domestic and international audiences. It's by far been one of our most successful campaigns. We've also layered in that play element into Childhood Rules, which is our family campaign. Some of you might have seen some of our Kidifornia spots in the past, right? So families are a major focus for California. We are always looking to highlight family-friendly itineraries, activities, packages, experiences, things to do, and who encompasses play better than children, right? So. And then Playful Journeys is our road trip initiative. So, road trip travel is a huge differentiator for California. I think it's a bucket list for so many international travelers to take a California road trip, right? And so, again, kind of incorporating that playful element, and we're always looking to highlight itinerary content, right? We actually have a whole road trip Republic hub on our website as well with different unique themed itinerary ideas. So I'm going to toggle over shortly to our industry website. We have a B2B industry site that has a wealth of information about all of our program opportunities, that research portal that I mentioned. So a lot of those tools and resources that are available for the industry. And I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the simple ways and some of those free things that I mentioned that you can do to partner with Visit California, but you can kind of see them on the slide here, and I'll share a copy of this deck with everyone as well. But you can do things like sign up for our e-newsletters. Our PR team sends out a monthly call for content. So we're always asking industry to respond to the call to content and tell us your fun and exciting ideas. We have things like editorial calendars that we've put together, marketing plans. You can order some of those free visitor guides that Kim was showing as well. As well as you can share free story ideas with us. And I'm going to actually spend the majority of my time talking about how you can submit content to Visit California. We've developed a whole content submission portal. So any tourism related business or association partner, could be a chamber of commerce, a DMO organization, can go on to share your free story ideas with us. And it could be something as simple as highlighting a package you're offering at your business, right? So maybe it's a hotel partnering with a restaurant to offer some kind of special. It could be a local event. So I know the Downtown Association a lot of times hosts events, the Village Association. So we would love to hear about that, right? It could be a story about a multi-generational family that owns a business, right? So we're always looking for those real authentic hidden gems. So the more local, authentic, the better. The mindset of the traveler now is they really want us to tell them where to go, and they want to be able to live like a local, right? They want to know the hot spots and the hidden gems. So in a second, I'll toggle over, but I did want to mention that when you submit a story idea to Visit California, it goes to our editorial board, and our editorial board actually meets twice a month, and they determine which content to fuel into which of our marketing channels. And they actually pick up 80% of what gets submitted in some fashion. So your odds are really good if you submit content and engage with us. So I'm over on the live site now, and this is a look at our industry website, as you can see here. So this is kind of the end all be all for information about all of our programming and partnership opportunities. You can click on this submit content link here. And here you can see that we have 4 categories of content that you can submit to Visit California. Excuse me. So what I was talking about shortly there a minute ago is our consumer content. So this is any content that you would want to share with travelers or potential travelers. So it could be an image for us to share on social media, an idea for one of our blog posts, whatever it is that you might want to share with potential travelers. It goes to our editorial board. They meet twice a month, and they actually pick up 80% of what gets submitted in some fashion. So it really is worth the time to submit if you have some great ideas and stories to tell. This talks a little bit about the benefits of sharing. The first time you go to the site, you'll create a login, and then I already logged into the site just to kind of show you on the back end what it looks like. But to click on consumer content there, you would just tell us in 1,000 characters or less what your idea is. We actually work with a whole editorial team that will write the content, so you don't even have to write the content because they'll write it in their own voice for the site. So it's literally just tell us what you want. And then you can include contact information if you want to include themes, seasons, etc. You can also include images, as mentioned, for us to share on social media or video content. We do ask that any content that you're looking to get shared on social, that you do submit it through our content submission portal, because then you're signing off on the T's and C's, and it's intentional, right? We know that you're looking to get your content shared. And it's really that simple. So it's intended to be a 5-minute exercise. You can review your submission, you can save and come back for later. You can also go to your account tab once you submit it. I'm kind of giving you the back end here, where you can look at your submissions and statuses. So I've actually worked with a few partners just to kind of understand it on my own regard. And as you can see, you do get a lot accepted and published, right? So they'll give you the status of when it's accepted, published. They'll tell you if they need additional information. This is an example for a chamber, actually, that was hosting an event in Old Town San Diego. And literally, it's just copying and pasting a couple of sentences. Tell us what the event is. We'll link off to the event page. We'll link off to you as the destination partner, right? And that's really it, right? The great thing about events is we do a lot of active promotion of events. In fact, we have a monthly events blog, right? And so every month we are actually highlighting different destination driving events for travelers. And as you can see, we link off directly to the event partner as well as, whoever the destination is. We can do repostings like this on social media. Looks like Visit Oakland here submitted an event and it got 13,000 likes. So you can see that, again, we're funneling destination stories. We're sharing content and getting it in front of more visitors. So Oh, that was the Lou celebration. Great. Oakland Restaurant Week, as you can see, tons of just different events, right? We're always looking for unique themed type events as well. On the topic, since I'm on this is our consumer website, as you can see, you'll notice that this section here is trip inspiration. And this is really golden because although we have a lot of evergreen content on our site about different destinations and different things to do like arts and culture and food and drink, anytime you can get mentioned in these California Now Network articles, these are really golden because that's what we're pushing out to our social media channels and e-news channels. It's timely information, right? So there you can see the May events blog. They're probably getting ready to push that one out here, right? So again, can't stress enough how much we're promoting events. They're starting to do more event promotions around and deals and specials around World Cup. And so another really popular section right now is travel deals, right? And so this is a section that we're going to actually be doing more promotion of because it's become so popular. But as mentioned, hotels are always offering deals. It's a great way to kind of think about getting your businesses to partner together as well. And how can we come up with a package that we can then promote, have Visit California promote, right? And we'll link off to directly to whatever the package is, whoever the destination partner is. We can share things like this on social media, right? And it's a really great way to also just plug some of the local businesses as well, because we'll link off directly to the local businesses that are mentioned in some of these packages as well. Because we're a nonprofit organization, we're also a non-transactional website. So what that means essentially is we're sending them directly to you. We're handing off directly to you as the destination partner or whoever the business is, right? We want them to go to you. We want them to transact directly, right? So it's just a really great way for us to share what's going on. So, fourth night free, etc. So I'm going to toggle back to the content submission portal here. So I talked a lot about consumer content. So think of that as your storytelling content for visitors. We also have a couple of categories here for public relations. So looking for earned media exposure, right? So we produce a publication, Chambers love this, we produce a publication called What's New in California, and it's essentially a quarterly, almost like a quarterly press release booklet that we share with thousands of media contacts. And it's all things new going on in the industry, such as new businesses opening up, a major renovation at a hotel, maybe it's a restaurant with a new offering, right? So whatever it is that you might think of writing a press release for, you can submit to Visit California. We produce a quarterly booklet. We also have an online version. So I pulled this up for you here. And you can see the types of categories. Obviously, they do publications quarterly by region, so it gets pretty granular. But these are just different things that are new and exciting for media across the state, right? And they love this because we're handing them, hey, here's everything going on this spring, right? Across California. So this is just an example here. This looks like, Charles Napa Valley set to debut in wine country. You get this nice little page that you can curate an image if you want to include images, a media contact, and this lives on our site for a while, right? So you're welcome to share that as well. I will point out one category that we recently added is milestones. So if you know of any businesses that have some major milestones coming up, I would definitely encourage you to submit. In preparation for America 250, we are highlighting milestones across the state. So think of like your 25th anniversary, or maybe it's a business that's been around for 50 years, right? Definitely share that with our team because we would love to be able to highlight that. I mentioned two other categories of content. So in addition to public relations, what's new, the PR team also produces a pitches and leads section. What that essentially means is we are proactively pitching news stories to the media. And to help with that, we actually produce an editorial calendar. So I mentioned you can sign up for our e-newsletters. You can sign up for a call for content. And we'll tell you every month. They send out an email and they'll tell you what they're looking for, right? We're going to go pitch surf culture stories or Route 66 hotels. They always include something in the professional meeting and event space. So essentially, if you think of like event venues or hotels that have group space, whatever it is, they're always highlighting that as well. We consider that to be one of our always on content opportunities, right? Green best practices in meetings, museums you've never heard of. I love getting these because it just is great for inspiration, right? Just kind of gives you some ideas on things like, hey, I know that business that would, they should really submit. So you can encourage them to submit to us. But I've also talked to folks and they get really great pickup from that as well. So. And then we do have a business listings tool. So any tourism related business, doesn't matter how small or big you are, can submit a free business listing to appear on our site. And so you can include information about your business. In preparation for the Olympics, we are working on improving the site navigation of our listings. So in theory, visitors will be able to go on the site and be able to type in Los Altos restaurants, for instance, right, and pull up a directory of listings. So that's content submission. And while I'm on the industry site, I will also point out a couple of those other resources that I mentioned. We do have a research portal, and I definitely find this to be super valuable for the industry. Anything I share with you, you're welcome to share with your businesses and colleagues. Please leverage these resources. We would love for you to. We developed this site so that the industry can engage. But as you can see, we have tons of free industry data. We produce monthly reports, seasonal reports, semi-annual, etc. A couple that I will point out that I think are really helpful. One is we produce a travel indicator summary. And essentially, this is looking at what are the macroeconomic factors that are impacting travel this month, given the weather, right? Or given, inflation or whatever it is. So our team is constantly evaluating and monitoring social media outlets, and coming up with this monthly report. And they even look at things like what's happening in lodging and airlift. So looking at some of the industry segments. We also have a lodging performance report. So we have our own star occupancy data. This report refreshes on a monthly basis. What's nice about this is you can actually filter down to the county level and you can download all of these reports for free. So if you wanted to see how you're trending against Contra Costa County, I'm kind of making it up, you can see what their occupancy stats look like as well. And again, these are reports that refresh monthly. You're welcome to share them with chamber members. If you have a newsletter that you're sending out, feel free to share. We also partner with the airports, so we have tons of airlift data, international arrivals. As I mentioned, we do that quarterly spend and visitation forecast. We also have global market profiles. So we actually have 13 different markets that we are marketing in, right? So if you're interested in learning more about any of those markets, they're all listed here. We don't have to go through all the details, but you can see a lot of them here. And then annual reports. So this is a lot of your economic impact report. We even have resident sentiment. So lots of really great reports there. We also have a whole partnership planner. I won't go through all of these opportunities, but if you're interested in all of our programming opportunities, you can sort by target market. Of course, we have things like paid media, and we host media events, tons of just programming opportunities. But I will share all of these links with you so you can take a look at some of those opportunities if you ever have questions. You can also go to our site to easily sign up for the newsletters, as I mentioned, and order those free visitor guides and maps. What's nice about the visitor guides and maps is that you can order them in bulk shipments and you can order as many as you need. And we know that so many tourism businesses are visitor centers in their own regard because front desk at hotels are always getting asked where to go, restaurants, right? Everybody gets asked these questions, right? And so it's nice to have these tangible resources to be able to hand out to travelers as well. I did take a look at some content that we have promoting Los Altos. I did a really quick search, and you can see just a couple of examples here that I found. So, this is an article on So You Think You Know Silicon Valley, and so they mentioned State of Mind Public House, and then 8 Golden State game parlors for all ages mentions hyperspace here. And this is interesting. So I was looking at some of our recent content on the Super Bowl, and they gave a plug here. I guess Beyonce must have stayed at Enchante at some point during the last Super Bowl, so they had a little nod there. We also have a whole AI tool on our site. We're working with Mindtrip. There's, doing more and more with AI and driving more and more traffic to our AI platform there. And so I did a little poking around. I put in shopping in downtown Los Altos, and it brought up the Village Association, so Scott and his team, and as well as some of the other businesses there. On the note of content on our site, if you ever see content on our site and you think, hey, that business is no longer there, you really should be talking about somebody else. You can actually, or maybe it's a road trip itinerary. This is that road trip itinerary hub that I mentioned, and you think, which should really be a stop on that trip from LA to the Bay, trip for soccer fans. You can go to our content submission portal and request that through consumer content as well. So, they do updates to existing content that gets discussed in the editorial board for consideration as well. So I thought I'd mention that. And then this is a snapshot of all of our owned media channels, if you will. So California Now Network, we have over 40 marketing channels if you count all of the social media platforms, print publications, et cetera. So when you submit to the editorial board, it is getting considered for these 23 million consumers that we reach and counting. So kind of went through some of these already, but I did want to talk really briefly about World Cup because obviously it's top of mind for everybody. And one of the things that we do for these events that are coming down the pipeline and some of these big programs is we actually develop playbooks for the industry. And I think that the World Cup playbook, they did a really excellent job in just really keying into, obviously there's information about some of our paid opportunities for some of the bigger DMOs, right, to participate in. But we do have this tournament playbook, and I highly recommend taking a look at it. I think they did a really nice job just talking about the audience insights, who we're going to be targeting, right? There's the folks that come over for the game, the diehard fans, but then there's a lot of people that just want to be in the buzz, right? They want to go to the watch parties. They want to look for things to do while they're here. Visit California, one of our main positions for these great big events like the Olympics and World Cup is we know visitors are going to be coming over. We want to get them to move around, right? We want to inspire them to take a road trip and to get off the beaten path and to check out things when they're here. And again, I go back to travelers really want us to tell them where to go. If you think about it, when you go to Paris or when you go to Japan, you want to know where the hotspots are. You want to be guided, and I think, travelers really like that. They also like the flexibility of being able to make decisions on the fly as well, right, when they're there. So that's why we like to tell them about things like events that are coming up, etc. So this playbook, highly recommend taking a look at that. I can send a copy out as well after this call, but I did want to highlight that. In addition to marketing California as a state, as our product, we also operate California Welcome Centers. So we have 22 California Welcome Centers throughout the state of California. And we recently opened up one in Half Moon Bay. I'm thinking that one might be the closest. The California Welcome Centers are just an amazing resource. We encourage local businesses to go make that connection if you're in town, reach out to your California Welcome Center, find out more about them. They are great California ambassadors. You can always refer people to our California Welcome Centers if they're going up to Eureka or wherever they're traveling around the state, right? They are trained to be California ambassadors. They go through a whole California Star training program and they know all things California. And they also have started incorporating digital kiosks in all the centers as well. So they have some of that digital content where they can also talk about hyper-local events and promotions. And if they know about the events you're hosting and things of that nature, they can always refer travelers to you as well. And of course, they do have all of our wonderful publications there. So you can access our visitor guides, maps, road trip publications. As mentioned, you can also order these, and we encourage you to do so. The Route 66 maps are great. I love having, even though everybody's digital, it's nice to have a map as kind of like a souvenir guide, right? So it's a great one. It has a really nice map of Northern and Southern California. It has estimated drive times and mileage because I think a lot of folks, when they come over here, don't realize how big the state is, and it is a really big state, right? So it's nice to be able to put that into perspective as well. And then, of course, we love to invite everybody to our events. And if you're ever in our neck of the woods when we're hosting some of our regional events, we do have a fall board meeting coming up in Oakland at the Claremont, October 8th. It sounds like it's far away, but it'll be here before you know it because today's already April 1st. And so our board meetings, we love when industry attends. It's a quarterly board meeting. It typically runs from about 9 to noon, and they start with a networking breakfast and have a networking lunch as well. But you get to hear from our executive leadership, and they obviously go much more into the strategy and details. And then we have our big industry conference every winter called Outlook Forum, and it's a 2-day conference followed by a board meeting. And this next one will be in Monterey. So again, not too far. So I thought I'd mention this as well. It's a great way to engage with more of our industry. There's quite a few businesses that attend, as well as destination marketing partners. And this last conference, we just had one in Chula Vista at the Gaylord, and it was great. They had, over 800 attendees there. Lots of really good information. They have representation from all of our international offices. We had an whole AI pavilion, right? So that was really great to learn some of the best practices of how the industry is adopting AI and communicating to consumers as well. So with that, I think that's the end of my presentation, and I'll open it up if anybody has any questions.
Thank you, Kristine. That was incredible. You have so much, there's just so much information and resources that are available for our community. And we have so many what we'll call hidden gems, authentic stories, and charming venues to share with you. So I'm excited that everyone that was here today to hear firsthand what the opportunities are for our community with Visit California. So Shannon, I see you have a hand up.
Yep. Hi. Thank you so much, Kristine. That was a really excellent presentation. Lots of information and action items. Wanted to ask you, what does your foot traffic look like for the website? Like, who visits it? Who visits Visit California? Is it mostly people like tourists that are coming from out of the state, or do you find that you do have like local people that also use it as well? What's that look like?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. And it's really all of the above, right? So we do obviously get quite a few locals, but a lot of our big direct to consumer brand advertising buys are done domestically, as well as we are also communicating to international travelers as well. And our website and all of our content is actually translated in like 13 different languages. So if you're ever looking for, actually, it's a great thought. If you ever have like a group coming over from Japan, for instance, and you wanted to leverage some of our digital content to share with them, you're welcome to, right? So we're happy to share. But just so you know, we are marketing in those 13 countries as well as domestically. But domestic is where we're doing a lot of our big buys right now.
Cool. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Kim. I'm wondering what you do, if anything, about the fact that some people consider Californians to be crazy people.
It's a good question. So, again, I mentioned that we're monitoring a lot of those social media outlets, media outlets. California does take a little bit of brand tarnish. And so when we do, we tend to get lumped in with a lot of the national narrative, right? And so we really take a position of correcting media outlets, monitoring social media, right? Anytime we see something like that, then we do our best effort to make sure that things are clarified, right? So we're really focused on protecting the California brand, if that makes sense. And really, at the end of the day, it is our role as tourism people to be optimistic and to really portray California in a positive light because it really is an amazing state. There really are so many wonderful things about it. And so we really focus on keying in on those things.
Thank you, Kristine.
Thank you.
Abby, I'm sure you have a question.
It's true. Always have a question. Christine, what is the sign up to get on to all this wonderful information? I don't know if I caught it in your presentation. And then the other thing I wanted to ask, you caught my attention because I've always felt that no one has heard of Los Altos outside of we're not a destination, we're not a Carmel, etc. And as such, I love some of what you've had to say because, of course, the hotel industry, Cabby especially now, boutique hotels, is really working on that. We get a lot of international travelers coming to Silicon Valley for business. And I think we would love to be able to capture some of that in a way that we can jointly help these people do more, not just
Yeah,
come for 2 days. Yeah.
yes, please, please. We call it bleisure, right, in the industry. It's like come for your conference and stay a couple days. Let's entice you to stay for the weekend with this great package, right? Wonderful question. So, as far as signing up for us, if you will, there is no membership fee, right? As mentioned, we're a nonprofit organization. We're fully funded by the industry, or almost fully funded. We get, a little bit from our events and such that we host, but for the most part, our funding is stable. So we are not in any way, there's no catch to partnering with Visit California. You can sign up through our industry site. There's no cost associated with it to create a login, and that's how you would access a lot of the free resources that I mentioned in terms of our content submission portal and being able to share story ideas. And then with your second question, that is excellent. It's how do we get more exposure on Visit California, right? For Los Altos in particular. And I pulled up a couple of examples there, right, to show some of the businesses we highlighted. We would love to partner on more content. We would love to hear more about, some of your hidden gems and things that you're doing, some of your attractions. So there's a lot of opportunities to really just highlight that on our website. If you don't mind, I'm going to actually toggle over to the site again, and something that you know might be a consideration further down the line is we do a lot to promote cities, right? And so we have this evergreen content that lives on our site, and these are just individual destinations that are sharing information with us about what their offerings are. So, for example, here, I'll pick on Berkeley because I think they do a really lovely job here. They sent us a nice image to represent who they are. And again, there's no cost associated with promoting you as a destination. We have a little map there, and then we literally tell visitors, here's why you should visit Berkeley. Here's information about our arts and culture scene. And as mentioned, we link off to all of those local businesses. Here's some restaurants in Berkeley. Here's shopping, where to stay, right? So here we can mention some of those hotel partners, right? And places to stay. So it really is that easy. It's all about leveraging that consumer content portal to tell us things that are going on. The city page is just one example. Maybe you really want to highlight your arts and culture scene. I'm just kind of making it up, right? But you can kind of poke around here and see how we're promoting and kind of the different types of stories that we're offering, in the arts and culture realm, right? So we're talking about museums. So you can kind of get pretty granular to see how we're promoting different attractions, etc. You can always, when you submit content to us, you can reference existing content. In fact, that's easy, right, for our team to understand that way. It's like, oh, they're looking to get exposure like XYZ, business, for instance, right? So I always say leverage the editorial calendars, sign up for the e-newsletters to get that call for content. And then take a look at our site. Use other examples, right? What are other destinations doing that maybe we can kind of piggyback off of? The other thing you can potentially look at doing is partnering with some of those other destinations. So San Francisco Bay Area is one of our 12 regions in California, right? And so you can see some of the other destination partners here. You can see what some of the other areas are doing. This is San Mateo County up by you guys, right, as well. Things to do in the peninsula. I always say collaboration is really the key to your success. The more that you can partner with other destinations to come up with packages, itineraries, right? So maybe you want to partner with Levi Stadium, I'm just kind of making it up, or whatever it is, to offer some kind of package or special. Definitely let us know, because we're always open to those types of ideas. And in some ways, we're hungry is not the word, but we're always looking for content, right? We can't keep promoting the same places and the same activities. We want new, we want local, we want authentic. So hopefully that answered your question.
Perfect. Other thoughts or questions from our group?
Yeah, Kristine, are there deadlines throughout the year that you want different? I mean, that you talk quarterly and things like that, but are there certain times that's like, okay, it's summertime fun, or it's winter in the Sierra, or whatever, something like that?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, as far as events, we do ask for at least a month in advance, because they do push out in social the month prior to the month that's being promoted, if that makes sense. So at least a month, preferably two. For other things, I would just recommend taking, to your point about like seasonality, I would just take a look at our editorial calendar. In fact, I think I even brought this up here. It might be kind of hard to read, but I'll send you a digital copy. But this tells you what we're going to be focused on every month, right? So this is really helpful. So in May, we're going to be looking at summer deals and culinary trails and pet-friendly travel, and talking about California Tourism Month, right? And so really, if you guys, thinking about World Cup, because you guys are so close, right? Any sort of, micro events, going on, or packages that the businesses are putting together, or maybe the restaurants are planning some kind of restaurant stroll, or, whatever it is. I would just kind of use this as like a guideline, or editorial calendars, and then just thinking about like 2 months in advance, if possible, on events.
Mhm. Perfect. Any other comments? Kristine, I really appreciate all the information that you've shared. I know that we all have a lot to work on now, in partnership with you, to share the stories, the events, the locations, and things that are happening here in Los Altos. We have a lot to highlight, and really appreciate the opportunity to partner with you to do so. So thank you. I'm sure there's other information that you can share with us. We can share a few links directly to businesses in following up as places to go on your website. So we'll distribute information. And as we mentioned, the session is recorded today so that we can share that with all of our members as well. So really appreciate you and all that Visit California is doing for the state of California.
Great. Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate the time.
Great. I have just a couple of announcements for our group. Just to remind you, we have a networking event that's planned for April 15th. It's a ribbon cutting and networking at Right at Home, which is a new business here in Los Altos at 260 State Street. That's from 4 to 5:30, and the ribbon cutting will be at 5 o'clock. And then we have our State of the Cities luncheon, May 8th at Fremont Country Club. The mayors of Los Altos and Los Altos Hills give their state of the city's addresses. And just last week, the past Walter Singer Award winners selected Art Carmichael as the recipient of the Walter Singer Award for 2026. So announcements for that are coming out, and we would love to see you all there. If you haven't purchased a ticket yet, please go to our website and join us. Any other announcements from the group? No? Okay. Wonderful. Thanks for joining. Really appreciate it. Thank you again, Kristine. And we'll just keep the momentum going with our community and Visit California and appreciate you.
Thanks so much.
All right.
Have a good day.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. You too. Take care.